so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. So tell us a little bit about influence living, and we'll go right ahead and get to your presentation. Would you like to go ahead and begin to share your screen now?
I absolutely
Okay,
can.
let me go ahead and stop mine.
So can you see it all okay?
Perfect.
Perfect.
Wonderful. Now, Nechelle, go ahead and start, and I'm going to be sending out a reminder to everyone that registered so they can know that we started. So
Sounds
go
great.
ahead and take it away, Nechelle. Wonderful to
All
meet
right.
you.
You as well. Well, thank you everyone for joining us this afternoon, early morning. We are going to be talking about Buffalo, New York, and all about influence living and the opportunities that exist out there for you in different markets. So today I'm just going to be talking about myself a little bit so you know who's speaking to you, investing in Buffalo. We always show real deals that you can take advantage of right now, working with our firm, Influence Living, and learning more about our education collective, the Grow Collective. And then we always leave time for Q&A. So I want to make sure that there's plenty of time for you to ask anything. So again, my name is Nechelle Vanias. I'm born and raised in New York City. Currently, I am usually in Calabasas, California. However, I am currently right in this very moment coming to you live from San Miguel de Allende, Mexico, the site of some of our latest real estate investment projects. So I'll get more into what we're doing here in Mexico and more about the company as well. But I am the mother of 6 children. My husband and I run our real estate business and an influencer marketing agency as well. And we have been investing since the early 2000s, so for a really long time. So I want to get right into why Buffalo, New York. Now, remember, I know I said I was from New York City. If you're not familiar with New York, Buffalo and New York City are very far apart and extremely different. So Buffalo, New York is in Western New York. It is the second largest city, only behind New York City, but it's about an 8-hour drive. So it is not very close to New York City, but it is an amazing, amazing town. So some of the highlights, other than Zillow naming Buffalo, New York, the hottest real estate market in 2024, it has so many other things to offer. But one of the reasons why the Zillow acknowledgement is so important is because other than it being a household name, everyone knows Zillow. It's really important because they have the data for the whole country. So when they're identifying a market, they're doing so looking at the data for the entire country. So that says a lot. But other than that, we're building a $1.7 billion Buffalo Bills football stadium there. So there are a lot of jobs in that concession to construction and everything in between there. We also have M&T Bank and HSBC Bank are headquartered there. Geico and Citi have their back offices there. There's a Tesla giga plant there. It just got the designation to be a part of the semiconductor super highway. So that means they're going to be building semiconductor manufacturing plants. UB, which is University of Buffalo, just recently opened up $100+ million medical campus and research facilities there. There's over 20 colleges and universities. So I've just given you everything from student housing to high household income housing with all of the new tech jobs coming in, to traveling nurses and medical professionals with the medical campuses and the hospitals there. There's just a very diverse amount of opportunities in Buffalo in terms of the type of housing. And 2 to 4 units is kind of our sweet spot there. There are a lot and lot of investment property opportunities there that people can take advantage of in the multifamily area. In a little bit, I'm actually probably in about a few minutes, I'm going to share with you actual deals there that you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So really exciting to be in the Buffalo Niagara Falls area. Erie County, if you're looking it up, is the area that it's in. So the best real estate investment methods for Buffalo, New York. As a firm, when we're identifying markets that we ourselves as a team want to invest in, but also for our clients, other investors, and our students, we have certain criteria that make an area very important for us or something that's viable. Buffalo, New York is a great market because of all of those things that I mentioned. Some of the other things, if you Google the Zillow article about why they named it the hottest market, affordability is one of those as well. But outside of identifying the right markets with economic development and growth and population growth, we also have to identify what is the best REI method for that particular market. And in the case for Buffalo, New York, buying and holding, it's a great cash flow market, which means whether you're acquiring a property for your own cash flow portfolio so that you can eventually leave your job or retire early or fix that roof on your own personal home, whatever reason it might be, that buy and hold is a really good opportunity in Buffalo, New York to create cash flow and eventually a future appreciation. We don't focus so much on future appreciation in Buffalo because it's extremely, extremely strong cash flow market, as opposed to California, where a lot of you are probably from. That's definitely less of a cash flow market and more of a future appreciation market. Fixers with great cash flow, we call them fixers and keepers, right? You're going to still need to fix it up, but it's something that you want to hold. We always say that those are the ideal ones because you can put in some of the equity right into the property instead of buying someone's already fixed up home. So you can get the equity and still get the cash flow. And your cash flow is going to be even higher because you're not paying that premium on top of someone else fixing it up. So we love it for that. And because it's such a strong market for cash flow, and I'm going to show you some returns that you're not going to be used to seeing in other markets, it's great for wholesaling as well. So if you're the individual who's looking to identify great properties for different investors, then Buffalo, New York, it's a great market for that. And I guess technically I started out as a wholesaler. I did a kind of little reverse flipping. We'd like sell the property when I started in the early 2000s, and I started in Buffalo. That was my first market. And when we were doing that, we would sell the properties. And then after we got a buyer, then we would fix it up for them because we have a full team in place, which I will get to as well. So wholesaling is definitely viable thing to do in general. And it's great to do in Buffalo specifically. I will tell you for those wholesalers on the call, some of the biggest mistakes I see wholesalers making as an investor who buys lots of things from wholesalers is just sending like everything, right? Oh, I've got a storage facility in North Dakota. Oh, I've got some new construction in Texas. Oh, I've got some vacation homes in Florida, right? What I want from my wholesaler is someone who is focused on a specific area so that they can actually be vetting these properties for me as good investments. You will gain a reputation for great deals from other investors if you are vetting the investments before you send them out, making sure that they're great investments. And the higher the cash on cash returns or cap rates, depending on if it's going to be an all cash or finance deal, those sort of things are what is going to help you stand out from other wholesalers. And specializing in either a particular type of property or market or both, a particular type of property investment in a particular market, those are the things that investors like myself are looking for from wholesalers, not just every and anything that someone is selling. So private money lending would be the other great investment opportunity here. There are a lot of investors that are investing in Buffalo, and there are great opportunities to be the PML, either in a first position, acting like the bank, on a fixer, doing hard money lending, any of those sort of things. Second position, on properties as well. When you see these types of returns and cash flow, it's a no-brainer to want to lend on them because it's a strong investment. So another thing that really applies to anyone, but specifically to the wholesalers on the call, it is extremely important when you are recommending a property or an investment opportunity to an investor that you can offer them a turnkey team in place. So a lot of times the investments are not going to be where they already have an existing team, and maybe that existing team might be where they are, right? Where they physically are located. If you can offer an investor a turnkey team, then it reduces the boundaries of where they can go, right? It just opens up the world. It opens up the world because the biggest objection you're going to get is, well, how am I going to manage a fixer from across the country, right? Well, unless they're an actual contractor themselves, there's really no on-site help that they can offer, right? That's something that experienced teams need to do. So if you can offer them an experienced team in place, it's going to make it even easier for you to move properties. That's something that my husband and I had to learn. When I started investing in Buffalo, I'm going to tell you how I started. Oh, yes. I used to do auctions on eBay. Yep, yeah, you heard me. eBay, the place where you buy tchotchkes and stuff. Yes, I used to do auctions for properties on Buffalo. Sold, I can't even count, but countless properties there. And when I started doing it, people, like, first of all, my husband said, Nechelle, there's no one's going to buy a property from you on eBay and then send you the money. Well, you don't know me yet, but I can tell you that sort of challenge is a game on call to action for me. So I said, well, watch me do that. And I started posting these properties. Buffalo was a little cheaper. Okay. It was a lot cheaper back then. But I was selling them and people were sending us money. And then my husband was flabbergasted. He just could not believe that people were buying properties from us on eBay. The challenge, though, we found, I knew that I needed to provide them with all this because they were coming from California and New York City and Australia and the UK, like all around the world, because the prices there weren't even closing costs in where they were. So I had to figure out, like, make sure that they had a property manager to hold these properties, but they did not end up liking the property managers that we had initially picked. And so I told my husband, I said, Tony, I'm gonna start a property services company too. It was like, how are you going to find the properties, market the properties, sell the properties, and do property services? And I was like, well, I don't know, but I've got to figure it out because in order for me to wholesale these properties, they have to actually work as an investment. So Tony decided to take that on for me, and we started a separate company, and he was handling that specific company for our clients. So when I would sell a property, he would watch them, and then they got the level of property management that they felt was consistent with what I gave to them when I was marketing the property and selling them on investing in Buffalo, New York. So that 20 years ago was necessary. That's still necessary today. So if you're going to be wholesaling anywhere within the country, within the world, you want to also be able to add that there is a turnkey investment team in place. Okay, so for us, that's referrals for lawyers, home inspector, insurance agent. We do property management in the Buffalo area in-house, contractors, financing, relationships. All of those things should be in place. You will sell way more properties, right? If that is part of what you are wholesaling. Hey, I've got this amazing investment, and there's a team in place to take care of every part of it for you. If you're looking to acquire properties just for your own portfolio, this is the same extremely important need that you need to have. You need to be able to know that there is an entire team there in place for you. I know that the old thought process is, it's very antiquated at this point in time that you should buy in your backyard, right? And you need to be close to your property. Well, again, unless you're a plumber or a handyman, there's nothing you can do on site, right? And now it's antiquated because technology eliminates having to go pick up the rent from your tenants. You do that online now. You Zelle it, you have one of the platforms for management and they can pay online, right? There's so many different ways, but even take contracting work. You need to make sure that the contractors are there and the work is progressing. Hello, FaceTime. Hello, Zoom that we're all on. You can do all of those things virtually now. So you can call your contractor and say, hey, let me see, walk me around, right? He can walk you around on FaceTime or he can walk you around on a Google Meet or Zoom, and you can visually see the progression of what's happening at your property. And you can see that people are there working. So you no longer need to be bound by investing in your backyard, especially if your backyard is California, which is a very hard market, especially when you're beginning or you're looking for cash flow to be able to find success in that way. So technology really has freed you up to go where the deals are. And if you have a turnkey team in place, then you can do that with confidence because you have a team there to take care of the day to day. And you do what you're supposed to be doing with the investments. You sit back and you collect your checks. Okay, I know we don't have checks anymore. So you collect your instant deposits, your direct deposits, whatever it is, however the property manager is sending your money. So that is really important to make sure that that is in place. Now, I know you are like, okay, this all sounds great, and I'm waiting to see these properties. Believe me, I'm getting to it. It's coming. It's coming. But I want to tell you how you can prepare yourself in order to acquire these properties. Obviously, cash savings is a definite, easy way to do, right? You can definitely utilize cash. You might have cash set aside in, let's say, a bank account or something. But one of the areas that a lot of people miss is the self-directed IRA. So if you have ever worked somewhere and had a 401k, right? And when you left that job, they automatically roll it over to an IRA, or maybe you started an IRA yourself. There are companies out there that act as custodians for those funds, for retirement funds, and it's in a self-directed IRA. We work with several of the top leaders in that space. And what it allows you to do is do everything from become a private money lender on real estate deals to acquiring cash flow properties or even fix and flips that are going to live within your retirement account until you are of retirement age. So you can be building up on your retirement through your self-directed IRA. Also, partnerships with friends and family is a great way to pull money together and work together on building up a portfolio that benefits you all, or doing wholesaling or fixing and flipping. Any of those things can happen. And so, if you're like, I don't have a ton of money, but collectively with your friends, family, colleagues, you can definitely investment groups, you can definitely put together something to be able to do that. And then, of course, the sale of other assets depending on how other things you have. I don't know, maybe the car sitting in your garage that you're not in love with. I know a lot of people are in love with their cars, but if you're not in love with it and it's there, you can always sell an old car that you're not using and utilize some of that. Stocks and bonds, if they're, going to be more beneficial to you to invest in real estate, that's another place to do. Maybe you have some CDs. There are a bunch of other assets that you could sell in order to find your way into creating a greater basis of cash flow or a generation of cash from investing in real estate. So now we are going to get down to the part that you always want to see, which is the deal book. So what we did was we created a deal book. And with our deal book, it allows us to, and I'm going to switch over and share our deal book. It allows us to feature properties that we have available in the current market. So I think I stopped sharing and maybe start sharing again. So let me just do that. Here we go. So you should be able to see now the deal book. So I'm going to show you one property in Gluck Park. This is a triplex. It's a buy and hold investment. It already has renters, tenants in place. It has a net cash flow of $18,000, and this is calculated with all of your taxes and insurance and everything. A 16.25 cash on cash return if you are financing it, and if you're paying all cash, a cap rate of 12.24%. And the acquisition cost is approximately $250,000. So if you're in California, New York City, a lot of markets, you're not going to find a $250,000 triplex that has positive cash flow or these sort of cap rates or cash on cash returns. If you're going to finance it, remember for us specifically, we have financing relationships from local hard money or asset-based lenders all the way to regional banks if you have all of the W-2s and tax returns that you want to use to qualify. And they'll all have long-term investment property opportunities for you. Here is a South Buffalo property. It's another 3 unit. Got a lot of those 3 units. That I know these numbers. I know they're like, well, Nechelle, what do you mean a 42% cash on cash return or a 16% cap rate? Yep, that's what I mean. The acquisition cost is about $138,000. And let's see. This is a projected, right? This is a pro forma. So this is a fixer with great cash flow in place. I have a feeling that I know which property this is, and I want to say that there's at least 1 unit that's actually rented here. As well. But where are you going to buy that? I'm remember normally in Calabasas, California, so I know very well that 138,000 or 250,000 is probably not even a 20% down payment on something that you can get, much less being able to purchase it full, free, and clear. So here is another 4 unit. I told you 2 to 4 units is our sweet spot. Not that single families are not great. I know a colleague who been doing this for probably 50 years and 40, yeah, 40 years, 40 plus years. He's older. But he only does single families. He's tried my hand at multifamilies, but single families is what he prefers because for him, he likes the fact that families are paying his mortgage and paying for his lifestyle and for his properties. Me personally, my preference is 2 units and up because I like if someone leaves, there's still rent coming in from another place. That's what my preference is. And that's the beauty about real estate investing. It really can be whatever actually speaks to you and feels good to you. For me, I like multi-units, multiple different units generating revenue for me. So you're going to see a lot of 2 to 4 units. I'm not even sure we have single family in Buffalo. Buffalo is prime for 2 to 4 units, but even single family rentals, fix and flips out in the suburbs of Buffalo. So like a Cheektowaga, Tonawanda, Amherst, Hamburg, like all of Lockport, those sort of areas will be good for fixing and flipping. And we focus on cash flow primarily as the best real estate investment method for Buffalo, New York. This one is a 13% cash on cash return. And let's see what kind of property it is. I'm gonna go with a fixer. So these are some projected numbers here. This property is a buy and hold, fully rented, almost 15% cash on cash return, an acquisition cost of $140,000. $10,000 in net cash flow. This is how you build up the portfolio to be able to leave your job, right? Not lose your job, just leave it. If you lost it though, this is also a good way to replace that income. And look, if you were making 100 grand, 5 of these properties replaces that cash flow for you. This one's almost 300,000. It's a 3 unit, still very strong. It has a rental income of 3,100. So it's already offering immediate cash flow in the Lovejoy area. This is a 3 unit, another triplex. It's fully rented, $205,000 in acquisition costs. As you can see, extremely affordable, amazing cash on cash returns. In case you are new, a cap rate, especially in a market like California, but generally speaking, something in the 5 to 6 range is standard, right? For multifamily properties, a standard investment for income producing properties. Something in the 7 to 9% range is really getting people interested, right? These are really strong cap rates. And remember, cap rate does not take into consideration debt service. So an all cash deal, that's starting to get good. 10% and over, people are drooling, right? Gotta make sure it's all good because those are really great returns. If you're in the teens and the 20s, they're just going to make it very desirable for you to acquire for yourself because you have to think where, if I have 40,000, 50,000, 205,000, where else can I put that money to receive 15.61% cash on cash return every year? Right? Where are you going to do that? Certainly not in a bank. It's not in a CD. Could it be in some stocks? Yes. So you don't have to pay a lot of attention. Yes. Is there a team that's probably delivering those returns where you just sit back and collect your statements? No, maybe some hedge funds, maybe. But yes, this is the opportunity for everyday people to be able to acquire assets that are generating significant cash on cash return for them. So great, great opportunity there. This is the last one that I'm going to show because I definitely want to make sure that I have time for questions. This is another 4 unit, 227,000, 13% cash on cash return, almost 14%, 12% average cap rate, and cash flow of almost 18,000 a year. This one has had some renovation already done, as you can see, and I love a little brick 4 unit, the nice porch. I like the Lang Weber Park area as well. So these are where you can get just great, solid investments. So I am going to stop sharing my screen there and get back to the presentation. Now, usually I wait until the end for questions, but I'm going to make sure that there are no questions right now about any of the investments that I shared. If anyone has any questions about what I shared, if not, I will continue on about how to work with us.
Yes, we encourage you to ask your questions. You can either use the chat or the Q&A. So be sure to ask any questions that you have, folks. We're here to answer them. Thank you.
Yeah, so I will move on, but Linda will pop in and let me know if there's anyone in the chat or using the Q&A that has any questions. So I will speak about working with us. And now, as Linda had asked me earlier, a little bit about influence living. You know a little bit about me, but now about influence living. We go where the deals are, okay? Like I was talking about. With the advent of technology, you have an opportunity now to go where the deals are. You don't have to be relegated just to what's going on in your backyard. There are so many opportunities out there, and that could be literally across the country in a Buffalo, New York. It could be where I am today in sunny San Miguel de Allende, Mexico. There are so many different opportunities. And remember when I spoke specifically about understanding, like picking a good market and then understanding what the right real estate investment method is for that market. So Buffalo met all of the criteria of economic growth, population growth, affordable housing. All of those things made sense for Buffalo as a starter market for someone who's getting started in real estate. That's why we love Buffalo from that perspective. The risk exposure from a financial perspective is so much lower when you're acquiring $150,000 to a $250,000 multifamily rather than in California acquiring one for like $1 million to $3 million, right? You can definitely cut your teeth on a market like Buffalo, New York. It's a great first market for that same reason for someone who is just starting to invest outside of their local market, but it's also great for experienced investors like myself, where you have an opportunity to invest where your money is going to go, probably the farthest it will go in many other markets. For me personally, this makes up our kids' trust funds. Remember, I have 6 of them, so there's a lot of them. It also makes up a lot of Tony and my retirement accounts because we're self-employed, so we've got to create that ourselves. Yes, we have stocks and bonds and all of those other things as well, but this makes up a large portion of that because of both the cash flow and the ability to be able to sell it. In San Miguel de Allende, The market is great. It's probably one of the most expensive markets in Mexico. It's known as El Corazón de Mexico. It's the heart of Mexico. And there are a lot of tourists that come here. It's all of my markets this year have been really getting a lot of shine, I must say. So remember, Zillow named Buffalo the hottest market in 2024, and Travel and Leisure named San Miguel de Allende the best city in the world. And it has been in the top five for the last 7 or 8 years. So there's been a huge boom in people coming to live here, visit, stay even as a nomad here, a whole bunch of different things. More families have started to move here to San Miguel. And that has really made it a desirable market. But it's a desirable market for the right real estate investment method. So the long-term buy and hold we do in Buffalo isn't the right real estate investment method for San Miguel. For San Miguel, it is better for us to be doing new construction, development, and short-term or mid-term rentals. The monthly long-term rental market rate is too low for how expensive the properties are. Kind of similar to California, right? So you're going to be paying for a more expensive property, but not getting the types of rents from a long-term rental based on the current market. So here we're doing some single family residential infill projects that we will be bringing on investors from the States and all around the country and the world to participate with us on those. The numbers are really great. Probably, I will get to innovation to tell you one other project we are doing here in San Miguel de Allende, but it's a great market. A lot of wealthy Mexicans have their country homes and second homes here in San Miguel. So they come on the weekends or for the holidays. And then there are a lot of expats and immigrants that come here from Americas, from Canada, from Europe, all over. So it's a really great market to be in. But again, we clearly go where the deals are. We're also in Dominican Republic. That has been a long-standing vacation island, and the growth in terms of the development is really expanding. And I don't have anything in this one, but I'm sure Linda will have me back. I can talk about international investing. One of the interesting things in Dominican Republic, the price point compared to what we're doing in San Miguel de Allende is so much better. So much better and for its purposes. So vacation rental properties where we buy out, the best real estate investment method for Dominican Republic is similar to San Miguel. So in that case, it is about new construction, development, short-term, mid-term rentals. So we do there in Dominican Republic, we buy out like the end phases of developers' new construction. So right now we're acquiring 10 townhomes. They're 2 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, private pool, rooftop deck, a gated community within a master planned gated community with a gazillion amenities, and all furnished for 300,000, right? So that's a great opportunity for yourself, something that you can put into the rental pool, but also can utilize yourself. There we have group investments, individual investments, great opportunities there. And that's what's the right investment for that market. So going where the deals are is extremely important. And we have gone into detail about what boots on the ground means, right? Having that investment team in place, whatever market you're in. We have an investment team in place in Dominican Republic, in Buffalo, in Los Angeles, and Orange County. And y'all thought I didn't invest in California, right? I do. But the right real estate investment method for California for us is high-end fix and flips. Okay. We are going to acquire some larger multifamily stuff, but the reasoning for that has less to do with it being the best method for California and the fact that 2 of my 6 children, my oldest 2 daughters, live in LA, and they pay, as anyone in California could imagine, an exorbitant amount of rent. And so now that they've been on their own for a year and a half, now it is they have a better understanding of like where they want to live. Now we're looking for a multifamily property that we can acquire for them to live in. And see if that will make more sense just from an investment standpoint. They don't live together now. My two oldest daughters should not live together. Y'all who have children, you know, sometimes that's not a good idea, but I do like them being in close proximity. So we are looking for something that will work for them so that it can be an investment, but also where they are living. So you really have to identify what that is. As it relates for influence living, we also really focus on innovation. So our most innovative project to date would be Lotana, and that is being built on approximately 16 acres of land here in San Miguel de Allende. As our first development in Mexico and in San Miguel, we chose the very smart way of starting your development in a specific market, which was to develop within a master planned development. So Distrito Sahai is the development, and we acquired 16 acres. They have other developers coming in to develop within the community. It has a pond and a huge commercial space, a lot of commercial, and then a lot of residential. And we are building what's known as a dementia village. There's only 40 in the world. The first one was created in called Holkewijk in the Netherlands, right outside of Amsterdam. And it is in essence a gated community where we recreate a village within inside of it for people living with dementia. The current medical model is lockdown institution, right? You can't go anywhere. Of course, that exasperates the agitation and all of the things that come with that. So this allows people living with dementia to progress in the disease and also to have the dignity and freedom to live as they would have had they not been living with dementia. So there's a movie theater, there's restaurant and a cafe, there's a grocery store where they can go and pick up things and go shopping. All of that without money being exchanged and within the safety and confines of the gated community. Everyone there, from the cashier at the grocery store to the movie theater ticket attendant, have all been trained in working with people with dementia. And then obviously there's all the medical components. We're incorporating a research, training, and medical facilities there. And we're going to be incorporating AI and wearable tech and energy tech. So it's going to be the first of its dementia village, the first of its kind in Mexico. And then it's also going to be the first of its kind in the category in the world with the integration of the research and technology. So we are really excited to innovate there. It's also our first opportunity to have investors join us in that development who might have a personal connection. The World Health Organization said that every 3 seconds, one person is diagnosed with one of the forms of dementia around the world. So now so many people have had a loved one, have a loved one who is living with dementia. And this is our opportunity to do good while making money and bring on investors that are not just seeking a return, but also have a personal connection to what we're doing. So that takes me finally to community involvement. And it's really important for us. We have a strong core principle at Influence Living that it is indeed possible to make money while doing good. And that is a mantra that we invest by and we do business by. And so in Buffalo is a good example. We had a mandate for our contracting team to do an apprenticeship program so that underserved youth and young adults could learn the trades. And that's great because if you've ever fixed something in your own property, you know how hard it is to find good electricians and plumbers and roofers and contractors. And so we know that we can raise them up and train them in the way that we believe would be ideal for contractors and trades to be able to function. So now they could be gainfully employed or start a business, not just in Buffalo, but that's a trade and a skill that they can take anywhere within the country. So we know we are doing good that way, but we're also making money because now we have trained trades and contractors that work in the way we want them to work, and we don't have to delay projects because there's not enough of them. One of the other community involvement things we do is that we know that we can change around neighborhoods with home ownership. So yes, we make more money having a 2 to 4 unit and collecting all the rents, But if we have a tenant that has been paying on time and taking great care of the property, we will work with a local nonprofit for a down payment and we'll give closing cost assistance and we will seller finance the deal back to them. So we're doing good by creating home ownership, which is going to change the legacy of their family. But also, we're still making money because it's not as much, but we're still holding the note. And we are increasing the value of the overall neighborhood. So the properties that we also have in that area that are rentals are just going to increase in value. As a company, we focus our investments in a market like Buffalo in certain areas so that we can affect change. And we bring our students and our clients and other investors, and we bring our collective dollars together to affect change, not in just the community itself, but in our investments. So I would prefer to, we once had a realtor that said, "Oh, Nechelle, can we just stay in the nice areas?" And I was like, "Ooh, Liz, no, because investing only in the nice areas just keeps them nice. We want to be in up and coming and struggling neighborhoods because one, it's a better investment. We can get the properties cheaper, but we can also directly affect the growth of the value of those properties and the community and make a difference while making money doing it." So with collective dollars, we can do that. And it's really exciting to be a part of something like that and still be making money. So we're changing our lives and also our families' lives. So these are the ways to work with influence living. And we have everything, something for everyone. We have group investment opportunities. Oh, I went a little fast. Hold on. Portfolio investments, where we will gather a group of investors together. We will acquire usually somewhere between 50 and 100, 2 to 4 units, some single family investment properties. We will fix them up. Um, we will assign them to our clients, to students, to other investors, and we have investors that come in to invest with us on those. And here are some of the details: a 25,000 minimum investment, and the ROI, depending on which tranche of properties we're doing, starts at 20%. So this is the private money lending opportunity that we talked about. And this group investment, this particular one, is specific to the Buffalo market. Then we have also in the Buffalo market an earnest money deposit short-term investor. And for this one, we bring in investors to do short-term, just earnest money investment with us. And that one has a $50,000 minimum investment and a 10% return every 90 days. The terms are changing at the beginning of 2025. It's moving from every 90 days just to every 180 days. So this is a 40% annualized return, and in 2025, we'll be moving it to a 20% annualized return, which is still great. Now, here is our how the portfolio investment process works. We research the properties, we acquire them, we rehab or wholesale them. If we've rehabbed them, then we sell them off at the end of that. And how we do the short term is the acquisition team identifies properties. Then our investors come in and invest funds for the earnest money deposits. Then we market and assign the properties to investors. And then we do either a double closing or an assignment of the contract. And then at the end of those 90 days, soon to be 180 days, you should get in now, then they can roll over their principal and take out their ROI, or they can roll over the entire thing for another round. So we keep all of those investments specifically in the earnest money deposits. So we're not acquiring the properties with this group of investors. We're just controlling the contracts. So we can decide whether we're going to acquire and keep it for ourselves or the team, or we're going to fix and flip it, or we're going to assign it out. And we have our normal due diligence periods. If it doesn't work out, we come out. So we don't put the earnest money deposit at risk without having done our due diligence. And then we're always in a position to close on properties if for some reason our assignment does not go through or our double closing. Other opportunities we have a buyer's list. It's free. You can just email to buyers@influenceliving.com and be added to our buyer's list. That deal book, the properties I showed you in Buffalo, you'll get access to all of our markets. We have Buffalo, Pittsburgh, as I mentioned, San Miguel de Allende, Mexico, Dominican Republic, South Carolina, North Carolina are newer markets for us. I lived in Charlotte, North Carolina for a hot minute, so we've invested in there for a while. Atlanta, Georgia area, and of course, Los Angeles County and Orange County as well. So you can get added to the buyers list. We'll highlight properties in an email, and then you can just have ongoing access to our deal books to see what deals we have. And then if you're looking to purchase more than a property here or there, if you're looking to do 3 to 5 properties a month, we have our Portfolio Builder Concierge service, which is $1,500 a month plus assignment fees. And on the individual properties that you have identified for you, you're assigned a dedicated portfolio manager who's going to identify properties in the specific markets and the specific types that you want. So if you want to just kind of pick, but you want to acquire a lot, then the Portfolio Builder Concierge service is great. If you just kind of want to see what's out there or acquire something here or there, then getting on our buyers list for free is ideal because then you'll see the properties we have updated. Excuse me. I need a little sip of water, guys. Hold on one sec. Okay. So I'm going to make sure if anybody has, oh, there might be questions. Leon asked, where is it? Yes. Leon also asked, do we have hard money and private money lenders in Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic? Yes. Now, Puerto Rico is the state, so I mean, it's Commonwealth, close enough. Definitely, we can do Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic, yes, as well. Now, Leon's is kind of long, but I'm a fast reader, I feel. Let me see. Yes, Leon, I'm going to have my email at the end. And so, um, oh, and I realized Leon sent this question to the host and panelists. Some people are sending it to everyone so everyone can see, and some are sending it directly. There's also a question, can you tell me more about the hard money lender work you do with help investors purchase? Does the cash flow quoted on the listings you reference account for the debt service? And can you share more about your private money lending options? Yes. Okay. So yes, the private when you see a cash on cash return on all those deals that I showed, those are taking into account a loan. And for that, it's long-term loans. So those are not going to be with hard money lenders. They'll be with some of the asset-based lenders offer that. But also, so do regional banks, your Bank of America. You can get a longer term 30-year, 15, 30-year investment property loan through any one of those sources. And when you see cash on cash return, that's taking into account a debt service, some sort of mortgage. When you see the cap rate number, that's an all cash deal that does not take into consideration debt service. The calculation specifically to the deal book, is that me? I've all of a sudden seen a reverberation. Maybe if everybody puts themselves on mute, I think maybe that's it. Yes, there we go. So yes, so the debt service there is calculated at 30 years with 8% on the long term and 8% interest rate. And for the fixers, it's calculated for the fixer portion. If it's something that someone's going to fix and hold, it's calculated at 11% with 3 points. So that is something there. So Leon, I'm going to have my email at the end so that I could spend a little more time digesting your message. But I definitely think that there is a way for companies like yourself and ours to come together and to better offer even more exciting opportunities for investors. So we can definitely do that. Now, I'm going to talk about the Grow Collective and then really open it up for questions. So I do hope you guys have questions for me. I love a live interactive group and I love to answer the questions. So the Grow Collective is the education arm that we developed specifically for investors looking to either learn how to invest or level up. One of the things we felt was missing within the industry was something that was more invested, no pun intended, in the success of the students that were learning how to do real estate investing. It has provided so much for my family, financial freedom with 6 children. I had the opportunity to attend all of the different events they had at their school. When they were sick, I was there. It really afforded me a lot of freedom to travel. Real estate afforded me the freedom to leave Calabasas with 3 of my younger kids and head down to San Miguel to work on some projects, right? Like that's the sort of freedom that it gives you. And so we wanted to make sure that we could make that happen. Ooh, my finger is quick on the trigger. So our education philosophy is deal-based and an apprenticeship model. And what we mean by deal-based is a lot of it is theory. And what we want to do is bring educational opportunities that take that theory and put them into real practice, because we know that those are two very different things. The majority of our REI education industry focuses on telling you how to fix and flip, how to burr, how to do tax liens, how to do all of the different REI methods, but not showing you how to do it in the real world. And most importantly, in an apprenticeship model where you are doing it alongside experienced team of investors, and not investors who used to invest but have stopped investing because REI education is very lucrative and there's no risk, right? There's really no risk in education. But our investors, our team that work with the Grow Collective, family, we call them, our team are all actively investing in today's market today, and I can't see why we would ever stop. We also love investing, not just for the financial returns and what it affords ourselves and our families. So our apprenticeship model has our students working side by side with our team in order to execute in one of our programs. And so we have real interactive workshops where we're getting down and finding properties in real time. We're analyzing deals with our proprietary spreadsheets. We are going through scripts and templates, and all of that is provided. So you get all of our resources from our scripts, our templates, our in presentation investor decks that we ourselves use, everything that we use, all of the relationships. If you're in one of our markets, the teams, if you're choosing a different market we're not in, we vet those teams, because who better would know a good contractor or a lawyer or a property manager than our team would, since we're in multiple different markets. And I built the team here in San Miguel. So that is access that you get. And then, of course, our knowledge. And back to the deal-based portion of our education. For all of our programs, everyone finishes a program with at least one contracted deal in hand. I'm sure it exists somewhere, but it's not very common in the REI education program, where they're willing to put their name behind and like everything on the line behind the education that they teach. We can strongly do so because we know we're not just teaching education. We're not just teaching theory. We are putting that theory into real world practice. So we are going to be doing the deals together, finding the deals together, analyzing them together, getting them financed or presenting to private money lenders together. We just had a cohort complete last week or the week before, and the lowest number of deals in that cohort is 3 deals, and the highest number is a partnership to individuals, and that's 10 deals they're doing. And everyone else is somewhere between the 4 to 6 deals. So that's why there's a 1 and a plus sign, because you're going to do at least one contracted deal, but it's much better to do it more than one, because everything doesn't have to be riding on that one deal. So we are very excited for turning the REI education space on its head and really standing behind not just how we do it, but that it can be done, and making sure that we get it done with you. So we want everyone to be able to truly participate in that success. We have 2 programs, and you could take out your little phones and scan these QR codes. The REI training camp is for beginners. It's a 6-month program. We'll be doing live workshops 3 times a week with our team. We'll be doing, like I said, hands-on education, finding the right markets, finding the right deals, finding the right level of deals that you should be doing at this stage, starting out. These are definitely for beginners who still are going to need to learn the basics of how to successfully invest in real estate and what are the best methods to do so when starting out. We're always looking for that lowest hanging fruit to be able to do before we go into higher levels of real estate investing. We want to get that foundation and what we call that bread and butter cash flow coming in and cash being generated before we level up and do our glamping projects and our new construction. And then we have the deal mentoring masterclass that does have some experience needed. So depending on the cohort, because these are apprenticeship based, we're able to actually model the full program based on who is within it. So if we have a bunch of, students that are joining a cohort and they're interested in doing new construction, right? Building residential communities. That's something that we can do for the whole cohort and for the deal mentoring masterclass. And then the coaches in there would be people like myself, who that's one of the things I focus on now is new construction and development. If the team is like the team is needed to be for a group that's really looking to do syndications, then we would bring in someone like Ross, one of our coaches who's done a gazillion million syndications over his 30 years of investing. Now, he didn't maybe do it in year one, but in the most recent years, having done and executed syndication. So we can really tailor our investment in general to them. And again, both of these programs afford all of the access to the resources we use, the financing partners we have, all of those things. And we also innovated in how we did the structure of our programs because we are working side by side to get the deals done with our students. These programs start at $5,000 plus a profit share, and it just varies across the programs. And we do have payment plans available either through our financing partners, PayPal and Stripe as well. And you can get more details. I'm just going to go over just a little overview of them. You get more details here on those QR codes. And I'm going to open it up for questions. And if you want to request any of Buffalo properties, you can use this QR code to get our property request form, and you can get more there. I'll come back to that one. And here is my email. So I'm going to pop my email into the chat so everyone can grab it from there. And then I will make sure to hop over here to the Buffalo request. You can hit in the message if you it went too fast. If you didn't get that here, you can have that here, or you can have these codes here. So I will see if anyone has any other questions. Any other questions? And I hope I did answer the full private money lending options. And I wasn't sure if that question was specific to private money lending opportunities that you can invest with us or private money lenders that you could get for your own investments. I'm not sure what that question was specifically, but I'll answer both of them. So private money lending opportunities is basically utilizing your money to invest in real estate, right? Realize this, a lot of people get confused that if they want to be a real estate investor, they have to acquire single family homes, multifamily homes, land, some office buildings, medical offices, something like that. No. In order to be a real estate investor, you need to be leveraging real estate as an asset to make money, right? That could be mortgages, that could be tax liens, that could be acting as a private money lender to real estate deals. It can be a whole bunch of different things. And you can utilize private money lenders for your own deals, and you can be a private money lender to other deals. And those are really important differentiators. And so not everybody wants to build a real estate investment business, right? If you want to do wholesaling or you want to do fixing and flipping, then you've got a business, right? If you just want to acquire rental properties or lend out your money to to real estate deals, then you're leveraging real estate as an asset to build wealth. And that's not a business, right? It's just utilizing it just like you would stocks or bonds. So it can be either option. Real estate affords that. A lot of our clients They don't want to learn the right markets to buy in. They don't want to learn the right real estate investment methods, how to identify that. They just want some properties for cash flow. Can you just please send us some properties? Those clients are usually in our portfolio builder concierge service. That's where they usually are. Just send me the good deals. This is what I'm looking for. I want to be in a market where I can acquire properties for under 500,000, and I want at least a minimum 10% cash on cash return. And I prefer single families, right? Whatever that is, they tell their portfolio manager, and then they set out to present them deals so that they can build up their portfolio quicker. If someone wants to learn the actual art of the business and how to do it and not to have to go it alone and to be able to have the support and the eyes and the experience of an experienced team with them, then doing one of the educational programs work. If you're somewhere in between, our free buyers list is a great way to just start getting used to seeing properties and understanding what's out there and putting together your money through your cash reserves, selling assets, getting together with friends and family to do things, or investing in other people's real estate investments. All of those opportunities exist there. And we just really want you to be able to have a good experience and be able to exit out of your deals and see success quickly so that you can build up on that momentum and do some of the longer type of projects. Now, that is really all I have for y'all to That's all I got for y'all. Do y'all want more? Let me see what else I got. No, that's really what I have for you. So I am more than happy to answer any questions. You can ask me.
Much. Nechelle,
Yes,
you're
Linda. And they can ask me questions if they want about anything. Like I saw this deal and I thought this market was good. I am open. I know we're at the 1 hour mark, but just in case I'm good for a little longer. So if anyone has any questions about anything, I am happy to answer just regular old real estate investing questions too.
perfect. Well, Nechelle, yes, you've touched upon so many wonderful things today for real estate investors, such great opportunities. And I congratulate you for being in such diverse markets. Talk about diversification in your real estate portfolio.
It's important. It's important.
Absolutely. So, folks, we are here for you. There were some great questions before. Let us know if you have any other questions. Nechelle, did you tackle the questions in the Q&A as well?
Ooh, I don't think I did. Okay, now let me figure out where to find those.
One of them states, can you tell us
I
a little
see.
bit more about the hard money lending uh, work and the investor purchase in Buffalo, New York? And does the
Yes.
cash flow quoted on the listings you reference account for the debt service?
Yeah, so I mentioned that part about the
Okay,
difference between cash on cash return and cap rate. But I will just talk for anybody on the call who's not as familiar with how hard money works or how the lenders we work with work. So hard money lenders or asset-based lenders are individuals or companies that are lending out either their money or their borrowed money to investors for deals. Primarily, a hard money lender it's ideal for a short-term lending. You want to get money from them on the short term for a fix and flip or for a fixer that you want to keep because the interest rates are going to be much higher. They're going to require less things, like you don't have to send them your tax returns or your W-2s, right? You're not going to send them those sort of things. Primarily, they're going to focus on the deal and they're going to make sure that the deal makes sense and works. Because unlike when you bought your primary home, it doesn't have to cash flow, right? It's not necessary. But when you're talking about investment properties, either if you're buying it to fix it up, we need to make sure that it has enough potential future value once you improve upon the property to be able to sell it at its new after repair value, right? So they're going to be looking at those sort of things. But if you're fixing and flipping, if I could leave you with anything, the biggest mistake that investors make when fixing and flipping is they calculate their profit on the after repair value. And for an end home buyer that's going to buy this property they fixed up that's living in it, doesn't matter if it cash flows because they're living in it. But if it's going to be a single family or a 2 to 4 unit or any number of units, and it's going to another investor, you have to calculate, does it make a good investment at the after repair value that you calculated your flip profits on anyway, right? So if you calculated on a $200,000 after repair value and you're like, I'm gonna make $50,000 on this, but then they put the property on the market at $200,000 and it doesn't sell or move and they're confused. Well, that's because at $200,000 it has a negative cash flow, right? Like that didn't make a good investment. But we don't focus on that because we're not taking it all the way through, realizing that this property has to actually work as a good investment at the price that I'm calculating my profits on. Now that doesn't, if it's negative cash flow at the 200,000, that doesn't mean it's not a good deal. You either have to get it for less, figure out a way to see if you can justify a new selling price with the work that you can do for less. And then you have to make sure that it's going to work at that price point when you put it back on the market and still be a good investment. So don't lose out on that. So hard money lenders are not good for long-term loans because the interest rates are too high. On average, they're somewhere between 10 to 16% even. We are doing lending here in Mexico. We're just starting that for home buyers who are building their own homes, and they're paying upwards of 20% interest. That's why being a private money lender or a hard money lender can be very lucrative, as well as a business in real estate investing is one of the methods that you can use. So hard money is really for short-term investments. Don't use that for long-term. There are asset-based lenders and some hard money lenders who offer what we call investment property loans. But again, so does Bank of America, so does regional banks and credit unions. So take advantage of those if you can qualify. When you're dealing with hard money and asset-based lenders, the qualifications, the underwriting is just different. Back in the day, a lot of them were like all of them were non-recourse and it was just based on the property. As you know, we've had our challenges with banking and now interest rates and stuff. A lot of times it's no longer non-recourse. It is a recourse loan. And you're like, Nechelle, what in the world is recourse and non-recourse? Non-recourse, you're not personally liable for the loan. You're not personally applying for it. And recourse you are. So you're one of the guarantors on the loan. The only good thing even about hard money lending and asset-based lenders, even when it is a recourse loan and you are signing for it and they are running your credit and all of that stuff, they don't want to, not that the bank wants to either, but they really don't want to take your property back, right? They will easily and oftentimes, if there's a delay in the project, give you an extension on it. They don't want to hit your credit. They don't want to do all of those things. They want you to successfully complete your project and move on. So you're not going to have a lot of the same challenges you do with your personal home if you fall behind on a payment or something goes wrong with the house or anything like that. So that is a differentiator. So keep that in mind when you're doing that. But there is the leaning factor is much stronger on the property because if they do have to take it back, they want it to be a strong investment and they want to make sure that it is a strong enough property for you to actually have success on it, right? So if you're buying a property for 100,000, it needs 150,000 and it's worth 175,000, that $25,000 is not enough of a spread. And hard money lenders won't do that deal for you because they know there's not enough money in there for you to have a successful exit from it. So keep that in mind when you are looking at hard money lenders and asset-based lenders. The other thing is, unlike a Bank of America, who I don't know for sure, but I would say that Bank of America probably lends in all 50 states. A lot of the hard money and asset-based lenders lend in specific states. They don't lend in all of the states because you have to get the charters or the whatever regulatory paperwork has to be filed in each and every state. And so New York is a state that a lot of hard money and asset-based lenders don't like to lend in because it is a complicated state as a lender. It's easy for us to get money, but hard for them to set up everything they need to be able to lend out that money. So we work with some great ones that do. New York specifically. But again, we also work with regional banks and credit unions. That's always a great place to look as well. So I have answered those questions as well. And let's see, I think I just saw them. Would you send me the recording? I wasn't there. Um, yes, Ellen, I'm gonna pose that to Linda. I'm not sure how their recordings go.
Yes, we will be posting this on our YouTube site, and we will be sending a link to everyone that's on this call so they can get a refresher course on this session. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Ellen, make sure you do watch that. It was good. No, it felt good. It felt good. So many different opportunities. So again, this is our, you can grab the QR code for the Buffalo, New York investments if you want to request. And then if you want to find out more about either of our programs for beginners or for experienced investors, you can also grab that. Let me make sure. I was going to pop over to the deal book while I was at it. I do believe now I'm sharing the deal book. Yep.
And
So,
then also she added her email to the chat for you as well.
okay, fabulous. I see, Ellen. Yes. Okay, so the Realty 411 team is going to get you the recording and everything. And I will make sure that we grab your email address as well, Ellen. And this was, I'll just be clicking through. If no one has any other questions, here's a little East Buffalo 2 unit, 6 bedrooms, 2 baths. Each have a 3 bedroom, 1 bath, cute little gray floors. 131,000 acquisition cost, 20% cash on cash return, really 21%, just round that bad boy up. Almost 16% cap rate. Cute little yellow house. Okay, this one needs some work, y'all. Needs some work. But actually, there's tenants already in place, but we could make it look better on the outside. Very long. This is a good example of Buffalo lots. They're very long. So a lot of times they add on. Obviously, this was the first house, then they added on some more, added on some more, making this 2 unit into a triplex. Definitely what they did here, but you'll see a lot of times a single family home in the back or 2 duplexes. I love this little picture here. It has the attic, which may not be wide enough for us to put another unit in, but certainly could be finished off for some additional living space, and then we can raise the rents. Those things are always really helpful. This is a fixer here in Niagara Falls. Oh, this is a fix and flip. 50,000 profit on there and a low acquisition cost of just $86,000. Oh, here's our acquisition process. All of this will be on the deal book, so definitely pop over here and check out our programs, request property investments, or contact me if you have a general question. I'm here as long as you need me. I mean, I'm here.
Thank you so much, Nechelle. Well, folks, let us know if you have any other questions. Nechelle's information is right on the screen. I would encourage you to reach out to her and ask for any additional questions that may pop up. So we want to thank you for your time, and we want to thank all of our guests today for their time. We appreciate you. And be sure to log on to realty411.com to get the latest information, news, and updates. Anyone else doesn't have any other questions, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. So you enjoy your Saturday out there and have a blessed day. Thank you so much, folks. Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.